So I was talking to a client of mine last week, and she had a lot of regret about the things that she used to say and the way that she communicated with her husband. Now he's leaning out of the marriage. He's not sure that he loves her anymore. He's actually got a place of his own right now, and she's devastated. And it's sad, right? Because most people say things that they regret in their marriage. But if it happens chronically over time and you never really learn to do things differently, eventually your dynamics will be poisoned by resentment. So if your spouse has told you that they don't like how you're communicating, this video is for you. So today I'm going to break this down for you, and I'm going to let you know the 7 things that you should never ever say to your spouse, no matter what. If you can follow these guidelines, you'll be shoring up a ton of negative interactions, and you'll be breaking old patterns that no longer serve you. Now, if you like this topic and you like this content, please take a second and give this video a thumbs up. That'll help it reach more people. Okay, so here are the 6 things that you should never say to your spouse, no matter what. Number 1 is you always or you never. This is actually criticizing or critical because it's globalizing, right? It's painting them in really broad strokes. And aside from the fact that it's usually inaccurate, right? That something is never true or always true, it's simply not necessary to make whatever point you want to make or whatever request you have. The second thing is to say, I'm done. So threatening to divorce unless you really mean it is not a good idea unless you're actually done. But how many of us actually say this when we're frustrated, when we're in anger, and we want to hurt them because they hurt us? But this is so damaging in the long term. If you really want to work things out, you should never ever say this, especially if your spouse has a big fear of you leaving or if they have abandonment issues. Saying it when you don't really mean it is emotionally abusive. Number 3 is to say, if you loved me, you would fill in the blank. Now, there's a lot of reasons why people do things or don't do things that don't have anything to do with us or their feelings for us. And plus, this phrase can be very coercive, right? It's something that people say when they're trying to guilt somebody into doing something or betraying themselves for you, right? And it suggests an idea of love as self-sacrifice, which I do not think is healthy, and I don't recommend it. Number 4 is to say, calm down. I've just never seen this work on anybody. Nobody likes to be told to calm down. It's essentially a judgment, right? Rather than a loving suggestion. It's saying, you're too upset, you're too intense, you're too much, and I don't like it. And if they're already escalated, they're going to be seeing this through the lenses of fight or flight, and it's just going to make things worse. It's better to say, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed or unsettled, and I'd be able to hear you better if we could both be calm. Now, if that doesn't work, just remember to exercise your ability to walk away or to take a time out for you, not for them. That's just good boundaries. Number 5, you're overreacting, or its counterpart, it's not that big of a deal. That's not actually up to us, right? We cannot decide to make someone wrong or to say something's not a big deal. It's invalidating, it's arguing against their feelings, and it's telling them what their problem is or what it shouldn't be. It's better to say the impact that something's having on you and the meaning making that you're giving it and the needs that you have. What is your stake in it? That's what you really want to lead with. So instead of saying you're overreacting, you can say, when you raise your voice or get upset about XYZ, I notice that I feel stress. Because the meaning that I give it is that you are not choosing peace. Or you could say, I feel worried or anxious because I'm afraid our connection is going to be broken. Could you please make a request instead of escalating? That way you're not adding fuel to the fire and you're giving things a chance to be productive. Number 6 is to say you need to X. You need to step up. You need to work out. You need to lose a few pounds. You need to stop playing so many video games. You need to clean the kitchen. You need to cook dinner. The truth of the matter is that they don't need to do anything, right? And in fact, it might be you who needs to do that. So we don't want to speak for our spouse. We want to always keep our own needs and requests separate from theirs. First, because it's good boundaries. And second of all, it's really taking a position of power and owning our side of the street. Now, while saying this phrase, you need to XYZ is, it can be very benign and it's a figure of speech. And I know a lot of people say this. I've done it lots of times in my marriage, but it ultimately implies that you're in charge and that you know what needs to be done, like you're the boss. I personally think it's better for the long-term health of your marriage if you say something along the lines of, hey, this is important to me to be done. Here's why. Can you take this on your plate? Be clear that you're asking for something, not telling them. Now, this can feel vulnerable, right? Because if it's a choice that you're giving them, maybe they won't do it, and that will feel disappointing or upsetting, or maybe that will mean something to you. But if it's not a choice and they just do it to avoid conflict, then there could be long-term resentment. So let them own their choice to either say yes to you or to say no to you. And if they repeatedly decline, well, then you have information and you might have to have a hard conversation and you might have a really hard decision to make. And number 7, finally, the thing you should never say to your spouse is "that's ridiculous," which can also be communicated nonverbally through scoffing or eye rolling. So this is essentially contempt. It's dismissive, it's mocking, and it's saying that whatever your spouse is communicating to you is garbage, right? It's worthless, it's unkind at least, and it's abusive at worst. There's never any reason to say this. Instead, what you can say is, "I'm having a hard time taking that in," or "I'm struggling to hear that," or "I'm having a hard time really accepting that because of XYZ," right? Keep it focused on your interpretation, not just making a blanket statement about, if what they're saying is worthwhile or not. Always communicate your own thoughts, your own needs, and your own requests. Now, I realize that old habits die hard. It's not easy to break them, but if you can commit to a moratorium on these 7 things and just give yourself a zero tolerance policy on uttering any of these phrases, you're going to be breaking old toxic patterns and you're going to set your marriage up for success in the long term. It's going to be the foundation for a very healthy new dynamic, and it will help you be really mindful about your communication. Now, if you have a setback, forgive yourself. Let your spouse know that you made a mistake and ask for a do-over, because even if we make mistakes, we're still raising the bar. Now, if you want more tips on how to communicate in healthy ways, check out my video called "Why Your Communication Is Not Working and How to Fix It." And if you like this video and you find this helpful, be sure to subscribe to my channel to help you up-level your marriage. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.